When I heard that he was naming cross-defendants from the crew members, that really kind of activated my spidey senses because it's never a good idea to sue the crew. A year ago, on the set of the movie Rust, there was a fatal shooting of the DP, director of photography, otherwise known as a cinematographer. Her name was Helena Hutchins, and she was killed by a gun that Alec Baldwin was holding when it discharged with a real bullet. So today, November 11th, Alec Baldwin filed a cross-complaint against 4 defendants that are named in Mitchell's lawsuit. The armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. So he is countersuing the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, for having failed to perform her job carefully, and as a result, a live round was loaded into the gun that she had negligently failed to identify. David Halls, who's the first assistant director, for failing to check the gun carefully and faults him for declaring the gun to be cold as he handed it to Baldwin. His cross-complaint also faults Sarah Zachary, the prop master, for failing to adequately supervise Gutierrez Reed and failing to maintain a safe set. And further, Baldwin accuses Seth Kenny, the supplier, of showing a cavalier disregard for proper separation between live and dummy ammunition. Now, all 4 of these people have previously denied culpability, and we're going to see what's going to happen. I mean, I think the next few months is going to be very interesting. I mean, Alec Baldwin is represented by Luke Nickas, who is a partner at Quinn Emanuel, which is the premier litigation firm that you go to when you want a great litigator. I mean, his resume and pedigree reads incredibly impressive. I mean, he went to Harvard Law. He has represented some very high-level people and gotten some really huge settlements and amounts. I mean, he's kind of the go-to arts lawyer when you have any kind of lawsuits in connection with art and masterpieces like Picasso's. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's very possible that the Santa Fe DA's office will file a lawsuit and name Alec Baldwin as one of the defendants. So why now? Why is Alec Baldwin doing this? When I heard that he was naming cross-defendants from the crew members, that really kind of activated my spidey senses because it's never a good idea to sue the crew because when you're an actor, you rely on the crew, right? And you want to make sure that you are in good standing with the crew because in future films, you don't want to be known as the actor that sues the crew. I mean, in Hollywood, studios never sue anybody. Studios never sue actors. Studios never sue the crew. So the fact that he's doing this is pretty drastic. I mean, he states that he wants to clear his name. His lawsuit claims that he has lost a lot of work. I mean, I believe last week there was news that Aaron Eckhart replaces Alec Baldwin in Concourse Media AFM spy thriller chief of station. So his cross-complaint claims that he has lost a lot of work. This has tarnished his reputation and he might not be able to get any work. I mean, that's my opinion. And a lot of things have been happening in the last few weeks around the case. And I thought today I would try to break it down a little bit in real time. Today is November 11th. It's going to, I think, be an ongoing, there'll probably be a lawsuit. Sorry, let's break it down because it's kind of complicated. So on October 21st, 2021, while they were, I believe, rehearsing a scene, Alec Baldwin was handed a gun and the assistant director said that it was a cold gun. So he handed it to him, and in his interview with ABC, Alec Baldwin states that he cocked the gun, but he never pulled the trigger. Now, there is a FBI report that states that that gun could not have gone off unless the trigger was pulled. So that's an inconsistency because Alec Baldwin swears that he didn't pull the trigger. So the gun went off, the bullet hits Helena, and then it actually also hits Joe Souza, who is the director. And there's been a long sheriff's report that just was completed a couple of weeks ago and has now been submitted to the DA's office of Santa Fe. So the DA of Santa Fe has asked for additional funds of roughly $635,000 because she states that she needs to be able to name 4 defendants in the case and have 4 separate trials. And she states that one of the possible defendants is well-known movie actor Alec Baldwin. And this was written in a letter dated August 30th and was reviewed by the LA Times. Now, the DA's office has received the sheriff's official report after a full year of investigations. So that naming of defendants could come soon. The other lawsuits surrounding the film include a wrongful death suit by Helena's husband, and she sadly leaves behind her husband and son. And it was also revealed a couple weeks ago that Matthew Hutchins had reached a settlement agreement with the production and all the producers, of which Alec Baldwin is one of the producers. Now, I believe that settlement is probably in the 7 figures. It was reported by Variety that there was a Chubb insurance policy on the production, and it's always very common that you have to have a production insurance policy in order to start filming, and that has a policy limit of $6 million, as was evidenced by a certificate that was filed with the local filming office in Santa Fe. I'm guessing the amount was probably more because the producers probably also chipped in and added to that amount. But the big news is the fact that the film is now going to resume in January, and the husband, Matthew Hutchins, will now be an EP on the film. Now, I think it comes as a big surprise to everybody the fact that the film is going to resume, because everybody just thought the film would be left unfinished. Another lawsuit was filed by Mamie Mitchell, who is the script supervisor on the film, and she is represented by the very famous Gloria Allred, and she's claiming physical and emotional damage against the production, and she named Alec Baldwin as a defendant because he's one of the producers, and she was standing very close to Helena when the gun went off. Now, Alec Baldwin tried to get his name dismissed and the punitive damages removed, and he was unsuccessful. An LA Superior Court judge denied the motion to dismiss. So it's always scary for the defendants when there are punitive damages on the table, because as we saw in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, they awarded $10 million of damages to Johnny Depp, and that's the problem with punitive damages. The jury gets to decide how much that amount is, and it could be $100 million if they so decided that's how much the plaintiff is entitled to. So I'm going to do something that I normally don't do, which is ask you to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I always think it's annoying, so I don't ask, but it really does help support my channel so that I can keep making videos for you all. I love this so much, but we have to feed the YouTube algorithm so that they understand that I make valuable videos. So especially if the video was of value and you learned something, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe. I have several videos in the works that I think you guys have asked for will be interested in. One is 3 signs to leave your job. I'm going to do a video about employee rights and workplace harassment or discrimination. I'm seeing that a lot of you have a lot of questions around it, and it's unfortunate that a lot of you don't report either discrimination or harassment because you don't know your rights. So I would like to make a video on that, and potentially one about actor publicity services through the lens of Florence Pugh, who didn't show up for Don't Worry Darling publicity event, a press conference. Is she allowed to do that? And what about Ezra Miller? I'm going to use the proper gender that they prefer. They have been a dumpster fire. And does the studio actually want them to do publicity once the film comes out? Watch my video for that. If you haven't caught my latest video, I just posted my Why I Left BuzzFeed video from the perspective of the business side and a lawyer. I know most of the videos out there are all from a creator side. Make sure to catch that video. Sorry, I sound so hoarse. I've been really sick, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys. This is Tyler, the Hollywood attorney. Remember, you're one thought away from joy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.